Hey guys, happy Thursday. It's Joe. It's time for Pucka with Joe. It's Thursday, March 2nd. Oh my God, it is above zero here. The snow is melting. It feels like we're coming into spring. I can hardly wait. You guys, we got 10 games on the ice today, and it's great to see you guys popping up. Gil, let's make some freaking money. You're right. A big shout out to each and every one of you. You don't watch hockey, JP? You got to get into watching hockey. Definitely is an incredible game to watch for sure. So get on watching it. It's a lot more exciting than I think a lot of people actually expect. So shout out to each and every one of you. Matt's nice to see you here, and Johnny as well. So, and it is Thursday. I am so glad you guys made money with the Devils game last night. It was just one of those games, right? We look at these games last night, so much fun action on the ice. I can't wait for tonight. Like I said, we got 10 games on the ice, so we're not going to talk too much about last night, but it was definitely a profitable night last night on the ice. And we're seeing a lot of changes here with the trade deadline coming tomorrow. So expecting some more. Oh my God, Jonathan Quick. We got to talk about Jonathan Quick and the Kings. They traded straight across the board basically for Corpostello of the Columbus Blue Jackets. I told you guys he was playing absolutely lights out. Corpostello and Copley for the LA Kings, I think, is a fantastic goaltending duo. Corpostello can play so well. So we got Patrick Kane in action tonight, so it'll be interesting to see what he's got. I've actually got a nice combination that FanDuel is offering for anyone who can get onto FanDuel with Patrick Kane and the Rangers tonight. But we got bets in all of these games. We got lots of battles happening on the ice. We got situations where we're going to fade teams. Yes, we are fading the Boston Bruins, not completely for the game, but we're going to take the Sabres in a situation here. So lots to talk about. But you guys, big shout out to each and every one of you. Like I said, I appreciate having you here each and every day so very much. JP, maybe we need to go to a game together. You guys would be embarrassed if you went to a game with me. I am kind of a loudmouth, and it's normally not too much fun for people unless I'm on my best behavior. Okay, let's talk the first game, Buffalo Sabres, Boston Bruins. This is the one I was talking about the fact we're going to put a play against the Boston Bruins in this one. Now, I think the Boston Bruins have every opportunity to get this win, but I think we're going to see Buffalo scoring in this one. We're going to look at their team total over 2.5. We have to find some sort of value here, and Swarman is expected in goal tonight for the Boston Bruins, and now he's still an incredible goalie. But what I'm looking at is Boston has won their last 4 games. Now, they swept that road trip. They played absolutely phenomenal, getting the win in OT versus Calgary, got the win versus Edmonton. The list goes on. The returning from this road trip is a situation I like to fade them in. Now, they are really strong in the 3 and 4 day situation, so it's not one of those ones where we should fade them for that. I'm just looking for the Buffalo Sabres coming in here. They lost that last game to the Columbus Blue Jackets. I think they still find the back of the net. We know how explosive the Buffalo Sabres are offensively, and I just think this is a recipe for a high-scoring game. Now, we have a total 6.5, and we know Boston's defense is phenomenally strong, and they can limit opponents' abilities to get these goals. But I do think we see this one being just the perfect recipe for a game with some more scoring. So I'm going to take the Buffalo Sabres team total over 2.5, and I can't remember what that was coming in at. Just let me double check that team total over 2.5. That the line has not moved too much. Yeah, it is plus 100. I kind of shook my head at that because I was like, did I write down my bet wrong? It seems like a great value here. Now, the Sabres have struggled in Boston, but the last time these teams played, the Buffalo Sabres were able to win it 4-3. Do I think they win it 4-3? It could happen. It could be possible, but I think there's a better chance of the Boston Bruins winning this one 4-3. It still puts us over that team total of 2.5 for the Buffalo Sabres. I think this one does go over the full game total of 6.5 as well. So like I said, while Boston leans to that under, I do think this is one where we see the Sabres get some scoring. If you guys are liking the Sabres straight up on the money line, you are braver than myself. And I do like Buffalo plus the 1.5 because I do think this is a 1-point game. So JP riding the Sabres on the money line. Yeah, I think it is probably, if this is an opportunity and we look at these opportunities to take these big dogs, this is a perfect opportunity to take the big dog here, especially at the value we're getting. We've got a perfect recipe here for the Boston Bruins to lose off such a long winning streak, returning home. Again, home ice is insanely strong for the Boston Bruins, 24-1-2. It's not unbreakable. We've seen the Seattle Kraken roll in and get a win over the Boston Bruins at home. So this is a situation where we definitely could see Buffalo winning it. I love the over 2.5 goals, and I love the plus 1.5. Both of those we're getting at plus 100. I'm not going to be greedy. I'm not sprinkling on the money line, but best of luck to each and every one of you that does. I will be thinking of you guys in this one, whoever does that. Okay. Oh, and Pasternak, he was given the extension with Boston, so congratulations to him. I don't think we will say Bertuzzi play tonight. It is a phenomenal trade. He is so strong from the Red Wings. I'm not sure we'll see him there tonight. So I'm not seeing it. This just happened so early, so it'd be hard for him to get into this game tonight, learn these lines, but you never know. Stranger things have happened, so we could see him out tonight. Now, the next game, the Nashville Predators taking on the Florida Panthers. Florida is absolutely fighting to try to hold on to some sort of playoff opportunities here. I think the Florida Panthers are the right side in this game. Now, the matter of the problem is here how to find value on the Florida Panthers, because they're sitting almost a $2 favorite here on the money line. We have the Nashville Predators coming in at plus 160. The Preds have been selling off people left, right, and center. Lanaken expected in goal for them. He's got 2.7 goals against average, and Bobrovsky expected here for the Florida Panthers. We can look on shots on goal for the Florida Panthers. Absolutely. We know those shots are coming in. They're the top team at getting those shots on goal at 36.7 shots on goal per game. So, but they're allowing these shots to come in as well. I do think Bobrovsky has a really solid night here. We know the Nashville Predators actually get these shots on goal, averaging that 30.6, but they're not able to connect these shots. They're not high danger shots when the Nashville Predators shoot on goal. So we're not seeing them go in. The Florida Panthers in regulation, I think, is a really nice way to look at this game. Could we see them covering this puck line? They could definitely cover this puck line. If they cover the puck line, I think this is kind of like an empty netter situation, so I'm not too confident in it, because the Preds will come out here and give them everything they've got. They're sitting 5th in the Central right now, and they did win the last matchup 7-3. I'm going to look at the over in this one. I think the Panthers in regulation and the over 6.5. We got such strong trends to the over, even though these teams play to that under in Florida. I'm not buying it here. I really do think this is another 4-3 style game for the Florida Panthers. So give me the Panthers in this one. Give me them in regulation. Panthers, you're going to lay the 1.5 with the Panthers. And I do think that this probably comes in, but with an empty netter there. Let's go. Yeah, Bobrovsky. Now, if Bobrovsky is confirmed, I'd feel a lot more confident in that. Just let me see if I'm getting any confirmations. And this is the problem. I always check confirmations right before we come on here. And I did not see him confirmed before. Yeah, we're still not seeing Bobrovsky confirmed. So once you see Bobrovsky confirmed, that would be the prime opportunity to take that puck line. The problem is we're going to see a little bit of movement, so stay tight to watching his confirmation. Mike, thank you so much for becoming a member of the YouTube channel. I appreciate it so very much. We're growing in members, you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. Okay, so if Bobrovsky comes in, I'm with you guys. If Bobrovsky comes in, let's hit that puck line for a nice big win here for the Florida Panthers. Let's hit the shots on goal. Matthew Tkachuk for that anytime goal, I think, is another good player to look at. We know how strong Matthew Tkachuk has been for this team. Now, the Panthers in regulations, what I'm going to hit until I find out, and I'm also going to hit the over 6.5, but I would be looking at the Panthers team total over as well in this one. I think they can get over their team total. Yeah, you guys. Well, I appreciate you so very much for being here each and every day. The Ottawa Senators and the New York Rangers, 7 o'clock Eastern in this one. Now we have the Ottawa Senators coming in as the dog on the road here versus the New York Rangers, who, yes, have Patrick Kane in the lineup tonight. This is fantastic news for the New York Rangers. Now, I know, I believe, Rick, you were saying yesterday that you are already jumping on the Ottawa Senators today. Cam Talbot is expected in goal for them. Halleck expected here for the New York Rangers. There might be a little bit of struggles for the New York Rangers, but I don't see it. They're on the back-to-back. This New York Rangers team is vibing right now. They've won their last 2 games. They're coming off that overtime win versus the Flyers 3-2. They do have the Bruins on deck on Saturday. Thankfully, not tomorrow, but on Saturday. I'm not loving what I'm seeing out of Cam Talbot, to be honest with you, for the Ottawa Senators here. Now, they have won their last 3. They're sitting 6th in the Atlantic. But I think the Rangers will be able to capitalize on Cam Talbot. He has let in some goals that I have questioned. And the last time these teams played, we did see the Senators win back in December 3-2. They are picking up some strong players right now. I'm just kind of questioning who is going to actually be out on the ice for the Ottawa Senators. I'm probably going to look at the Sens in their next one. They picked up a great defensive player, and they picked up some other great players that they're pushing. This team so wants to move up in the standings to be able to get somewhere this season, but it's going to be really hard for them. They have struggled versus the Rangers. They are 1-4 in their last 5 meetings versus the New York Rangers. Now, they're coming in with 1 day's rest, which is a really good advantage for them, and the road team has won this matchup. But Panarin and Patrick Kane, I tell you, if these two come out on the same line tonight, I think we're going to see an absolutely phenomenal game out of the New York Rangers. So when looking at, if you believe the Rangers can win and you can get FanDuel's, if you can place a bet at FanDuel, I found Patrick Kane for the anytime goal and the New York Rangers to win, parlayed together over at FanDuel's plus 300, which I absolutely love that bet. I think you have a prime opportunity to make some money. I do think Patrick Kane comes out to impress his new team tonight. And like I said, with Panarin there, I think these two are going to light up the net tonight. Anthony, I'm all over to check the starting goalies. So I use my Score app so much. They normally tell me confirmations a little bit late. So I think the best way to actually check your starting goalies is the minute the books actually release these goalies, because especially FanDuel's really good at not releasing goalie props until that goalie is confirmed. So check the books that you're using. If your book isn't on top of it like FanDuel is, look over at the FanDuel odds there. But I also follow a bunch of beat writers that are at these practices, at the warm-ups or the practices in the morning, seeing who is the first goalie off the ice and everything like that. It gives you a better idea. And then a little bit of who we saw the last night. It's really... Coaches normally don't like to play goalies back-to-back. Looking at the scheduling as well, who is on deck, you're looking at, well, where are they going to place that goalie? So there's a lot of things to look at, but checking FanDuel really works well. So, okay. I think this one also could stay under that total. I'm hesitant to take the total on this one. The under is strong between these two, but we know the Ottawa Senators really can open up at some times, and I really question Halleck and Cam Talbot if either of these goalies are going to have a strong night. So I'm going to stay off the total. I think the Rangers in first period is a nice way to look at this game too. I think they come out strong in the first period in the Garden. This is going to be an exciting night for New York Rangers fans and the team as a whole. So giving the Rangers in the first period, Patrick Kane to get a goal and the Rangers to win at plus 300 is what I would excuse me, my dogs are barking. Is another way to look at this game. I'm not worried about the Rangers here on the back-to-back at all. So, sorry, I had to stomp my foot. He will stop. The next game on the ice. Oh, big sis. I don't know. These teams, it's probably going to be the Blackhawks. The Blackhawks, the Sharks. Montreal keeps trying to win, so we'll see what happens there. Yeah, daily faceoff is really good for starting goalies as well. So I find some of the books really do, like you go to place that bet, they have those ones up. Yeah, the dogs might be barking today. I have a couple dogs that I am looking at for sure. Mine is just being a jerk because Amazon pulled up outside. I do not know what I ordered. Okay, the next game on the ice. The Pittsburgh Penguins are taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, the Lightning coming in as large favorites in this at minus 170, plus 140 for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Tristan Jarry expected in goal for the Penguins, and Andrei Vasilevsky expected here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, the Lightning have been not doing well as of late. They lost their last 2 games. They lost to the Panthers 4-1 on a Tuesday. And we had the Penguins rolling in here. They won their last 3 games. They got that win over the Predators on Tuesday. That was a 3-1 win in that matchup. So they're sitting 5th in the Metro, and we have the Tampa Bay Lightning sitting 3rd in the Atlantic. We got a total of 6.5 in this one. I do think the Penguins can keep this game tight. We know that this team is trying to push hard. They're also 14-12-4-1 on the road this season, 18-13 on the road on that puck line. I like them plus the 1.5 here on the puck line, expecting them to keep it tight. The plus 1.5 though is juiced at minus 176. So instead of taking them here, because I do think they're going to put up the goals as well as Tampa, and we know Tampa can put up the goals. Braden Point's been absolutely phenomenal. I'd be looking at Braden Point for the anytime goal or the points tonight. He might get the assist. And Sidney Crosby here has been so solid as well. I'd be looking at him for the Pittsburgh Penguins. I think this is a prime opportunity for this one to go over that total as these two teams fight it out. Now, the total is at 6.5, but we have seen strong trends when these two teams play each other. And looking at the amount of goals the Pittsburgh Penguins were able to put up just in February versus the Tampa Bay Lightning, they sunk 7 goals in that game. The Lightning came out and put up 3. So we had that game hit 10. We're only asking for 7 goals in this one, exactly what the Penguins got in the last. So I do think it comes in tonight. So give me the over 6.5, you guys. Yeah, Anaheim is getting there too. The Ducks. There's so many teams. It's just going to be interesting to see what these teams do down the stretch. There's a couple of these teams that are sitting so high in their division as well. They're going to face opponents like the Ducks, and they're not going to give it their all because they've already got such a lead. So you got to be really cautious with large favorites going down this stretch when they've got such a lead over other people within their division, other teams within their division, that they don't let one of these games go. The Knights now have Jonathan Quick. He's gone from the Kings to Columbus, now to the Vegas Golden Knights. Oh, my God. That is absolutely insane. I'm happy for him. I'm happy to see him go to Vegas. I know he was very against going to Columbus. He made it very, very public. Yeah, it's got really sucked for a player like Johnny Gaudreau being like, hey, I'm with Columbus. You don't want to come here with us? But you can see it. Wow. That is absolutely insane. I'm really happy for him. That is a great addition for Vegas to pick up Jonathan Quick. And I give him a hard time, but looking at the defense in front of Jonathan Quick, he didn't have that support. We look at Vegas, they give their goalie more support. They get those block shots on goal. So it will be a nicer spot for him. Yeah, and the Knights absolutely struggling. Aiden Hill cannot play every single game for the Vegas Golden Knights. We've seen Logan Thompson with an upper body injury out for how long now? It's like Aiden Hill has been playing back to back to back to back to back. So that is exciting, you guys. This trade deadline is not disappointing this year. The Pens plus 1.5 and the over 5.5. Todd, I think that is a fantastic way to go. Combining those two together, you are going to get value in this one. Oh man, this is a good day. This is a really good day. I'm really excited to see Jonathan Quick has gone to Vegas. You guys know I love my Calgary Flames, even though they disappoint. I love the LA Kings. I love the Vegas Golden Knights. So to see him go to a team that he's going to be a lot happier with is a really good thing. Now let's talk about those Seattle Kraken who are sitting fourth in the Pacific. They're facing the Detroit Red Wings tonight. They're expected to start Grubauer in goal. Grubauer is pretty strong, but Husso expected on the other side of the puck. He has a 2.91 goals against average. We know that the Seattle Kraken have been strong on that puck line, especially on the road, going 20-10 on that puck line. They got that win over the St. Louis Blues 5-3 in their last game. They have the Columbus Blue Jackets on deck tomorrow. So no look-ahead spot here for them. Detroit, I swear, this team wanted to make a run so bad this season, but they're just not going to get there, in my opinion. They are sitting 28, 24, 5-3, 7th in the Atlantic. They've lost their last 3 games. They got completely blown out by the Senators in that game, a 6-1. This is a one-off home game. They face the New York Islanders on Saturday, back out on the road. This team has been on the road a lot as of late. I think this one scares me. And do you know why it scares me? Because why is this line the way it is? And for this reason, and this reason only, I didn't take the Seattle Kraken at minus 125 here. I do not understand how the Seattle Kraken are such slight favorites in this game versus the Detroit Red Wings. We've got the minus 125 for the Kraken, plus 104 for the Detroit Red Wings. The Kraken absolutely should win this game. They should be able to dominate, especially in their zone, not letting the offense be able to get these shots on goal. They're holding opponents to 27.9 shots on goal. Because when I look at this game, I don't love what I'm seeing. It makes me feel like the books are begging us to take Seattle in this one. The play might be Detroit here at home to break this losing streak. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this total. I'm going to hit the total under. I believe it's at 6.5 now, which I'm actually shocked it's moved in that direction. It is at 6.5 to the under, minus 128 to the under in this one. Now, Husso and Grubauer, both pretty solid goalies. What I'm looking at is the inability for the Detroit Red Wings to get these shots on goal. This is a team that is averaging 3 goals per game, but they're only putting up 28.7 shots on goal per game. So Grubauer should have a solid night here, especially with the Kraken's ability to limit their opponents and hold them to 27.9. I just don't see enough goals coming in this one to go over that total. Now, Seattle isn't one of those teams that's peppering the net like the Florida Panthers with shots on goal either. They're only coming in at 29.8 shots on goal. So give me the under 6.5. I think this is just a hard game for the Detroit Red Wings to score. If you're worried and you think Seattle is going to go on a big run here, get a lot of goals, you can look at the Detroit Red Wings team total. I just don't think I see Seattle playing that style of game tonight. So, but we know it's the Kraken, and the Kraken could put up 1 million goals in this one. So if you're liking here, the Kraken's team total, I'll just look at these team totals quickly for you guys. If I can find it here, there's so many things you can bet. So the Kraken's team total is 3.5. It's juiced to that over at plus 128. The Detroit Red Wings under 2.5, you're getting plus 124. If you're hitting over 2.5, it's at 158. I was hoping this number would come in at 3, so I'm not going to touch it, but I do think this one stays under there. Okay, Seattle, exactly. Seattle should win. So I tell you, I will love the Oilers one day. I will never love the Oilers. Connor McDavid, though, you guys have to talk about him scoring. Again, multiple goals, being the 5th player to score multiple goals in, 5 games, I believe. He broke that record again last night. So he's absolutely lighting up the net. If Edmonton, and they did pick up a defensive player, the name is completely blank in my mind. If Edmonton can start playing more defense, this team could be unstoppable. Could you imagine what Edmonton could do with their offensive production? And if they got more strength defensively, it would be absolutely phenomenal. Money line for Kev, not overthinking it. I am overthinking it because I think they should be at least minus 170 favorites here. So that is where my fear comes in. I'm going to grab the under. It does seem like we should grab the Red Wings here. So Larkin, anytime goal, and the Wings plus 1.5. Mike, I like it. Larkin, he had his contract renewed as well. 8-year contract extension for Dylan Larkin. So really good to see with the Red Wings. I could see this one staying tight. And I hear you guys. Everyone taking the Red Wings tonight? I think it's probably the way to go. Just because the Kraken should only be -125 here. Why the book's really limiting their risk in this one? And that's what it feels like. It feels like they're limiting the risk because they know something that we don't know. So he did save a goal last night, and you're right. So Connor McDavid is starting to play both ends of the ice because he is starting to realize it is the only way that he can win, like Edmonton can win, is if he plays both ends of the ice. So we really need to see that out of Connor McDavid. He's such a phenomenal player. I hate that he is in Edmonton. Damned Edmonton. Okay, the next game. The Dallas Stars taking on the Chicago Blackhawks. Chicago 21-34, 3-2 on the season. Peter Moretz expected to start here for them. They're coming in as $2 underdogs. We have Dallas, the $2.50 favorite here. Matt Murray expected. Now, when I saw this, I had to do a double take. I thought I missed something in the trade, and I was like, Matt Murray has been injured with the Leafs. No, this is not Matt Murray from the Toronto Maple Leafs. This is a newer Matt Murray brought up from the AHL. So he's been brought up, brought down. We haven't seen him play yet this season. Now, he's in net for the Stars tonight. We know these goalies go one of two ways when they come out. They either come out and excel because this is their first game in the NHL, or they fall flat on their faces. Because of this, I had loved the Stars before I realized what we're going to see, who we're going to see in goal tonight. So they have a 20-9 road record on that puck line. They're 16-8-4-1 on the road as well. I really did expect them to come out here and completely destroy the Chicago Blackhawks tonight, who've lost their last 2 games. The last game, the Coyotes put up 4 goals on them. They only got 1. But I just can't do it. I cannot take Dallas on the puck line with questions here for goaltending. Should they do it? Absolutely. But we're going to have this defense really step up. Give support to Matt Murray here. We're going to call him Matthew Murray so I don't get confused too, because it's just like, it's like Sebastian Aho. There's 2 Sebastian Ahos in the league. Now we've got 2 goalies named Matt Murray. It is confusing to say the least when you're listening, but the Stars have dominated in Chicago. The Blackhawks, they're the Blackhawks, you guys. I'm going to take the under 6.5 in this one. It's a -135 for that under. Now these 2 teams do trend to that over, but unless Matt Murray falls completely on his face, I don't think this one is going to go over that total. So this is one, you guys, where stay off. If you don't need to bet this one, I wouldn't bet it. We've got so much uncertainty any given night with the goalies that we know, let alone a goalie we don't know. Dallas hockey, yeah, Dallas in 60 minutes is a perfect way to go, Mike. I really do think Dallas gets this win. I don't see the Blackhawks being able to keep it tight. So if you're okay with what you're paying in regulation for Dallas in regulation, which the last time I checked, it was kind of juicy. We are seeing 60 minutes, no push. See, it's still -160 there for in regulation. It's a parlay, please, for me. But I just can't get behind that puck line. Give me the under 6.5. Now we had to talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs taking on the Calgary Flames. Now the Leafs, off that loss to the Edmonton Oilers last night, offensively, they completely struggled. Only putting up 2 goals on Edmonton. With Edmonton, with their defensive issues and goaltending issues, it was impressive. Like you guys said, we saw Connor McDavid get that 1 goal that he didn't allow to go in because he's realizing he has to play both ends of the ice. Now, Toronto off a loss is a scary situation, but Wall is expected in goal for them. Wolves 1-1-0 on the season with a 2.56 goals against average. Now, Calgary is Calgary, and Calgary is super frustrating. This team, Daryl Sutter really wants to be a defensive team. This is not a defensive team. Yes, they're good at limiting their opponent's ability to get these shots on goal at 26.9, but the strength of this team really is their offense. They're averaging 35.8 shots on goal per game and 3.15 goals per game. I'm looking at this game. Jacob Markstrom is in net tonight. Expected. Let me see if the confirmation has come in while we've been sitting here. But Jacob Markstrom is really interesting. So we know his struggles on the season. Markstrom is in. He's got save goals at 24.5 at -126 to the over. Okay, so Jacob Markstrom just welcomed his baby into the world. That's why we didn't see him for a couple games. I think he comes out and he plays absolutely phenomenal. I didn't realize that his wife has been pregnant throughout the season. I had absolutely no clue. I don't know if this weighed into a little bit of how bad we've seen Jacob Markstrom in some of these games. I really do think we see a big, huge night out of Jacob Markstrom. Now that the stress of a baby coming is off his shoulder, yes, hopefully he's getting some sleep, but I do expect this one to be a great game for him. So I'm going to take Jacob Markstrom over 24.5 save shots on goal. It's coming in at -126. Now it's going to be hard because we know that the Leafs are going to be limited by the defense of the Calgary Flames' ability to get these shots. But they do average 32.1 shots on goal. Calgary holding opponents to 26.9. I do think that number 24.5 is a fair number. It's going to be stressful, though. Calgary is going to really limit the Leafs, especially in that first period. We're going to see such limited ability to get these shots, but we know it's Calgary, and Calgary is doing this. They're shooting themselves in the foot. So Calgary first period, I think, is where I'm going to ride. I rode them in the first period versus Boston Bruins. We all know that didn't work out. But I think Calgary in the first period here with Toronto on the back-to-back with Edmonton to start off this game good. Jacob Markstrom over 24.5 save shots on goal and the over. With Wall in goal here, this could be the night where Calgary really opens up offensively. We know the Leafs are better offensively than what we saw last night. They're going to be frustrated. They're going to come out. They're going to still get goals on Jacob Markstrom. I'm not expecting this one to be a game where Jacob Markstrom gets a shutout, but I do think we see enough shots on goal to go over that 24.5 in this one. So that's where I'm going, you guys. Avoid the shots on goal props at all cost in this game. If you like someone to have a solid game, take their points or take their anytime goal. Because when you're looking at both of these teams, both teams are strong at limiting their opponent's ability to get these shots. We're going to still see the shots come in. We're still going to see the goals. But we're going to have less ability to cash on those shots on goal props. And a lot of these players coming in at 3s, 3.5. So don't do that. Johnny, I don't know if Calgary wins this full game. I'm just taking them first period. I'm not crazy enough to take my team in the full game. So you have the Flames +1/6 at +450. Anthony, that is an excellent bet there. I do think this is a 4-3 game. There is going to be a little puck luck, and to take that at +450, I think that is my favorite bet of the day. Yeah, Flames need to finally get back in the W column. That is for sure. Johnny's got the Leafs bouncing back, the over 6. And the over for Joe, and I completely agree, the over 6.5 is cashing in that one. Flames money line or over 6.5. Leaves tonight for Mike. So, and the Stars taking care of business. Okay. Now you got that song in my head. What is that song? Taking Care of Business? There's a song. It's sung in my head. It's how my brain thinks. Okay. The next game with the Minnesota Wild taking on the Vancouver Canucks. 10 o'clock Eastern for this one. Total here, let me just double check. I thought this one might have moved on that total. Total still sitting at 6. Over 6 at -108. Under -112. I'm going to hit the under in this one. The under 6. There are some 6.5 still out there, you guys. So if you like the under with me, shop for that under 6.5. Vancouver will be expected to start Demko here. Demko's looking for a new contract. So he played phenomenal the last time out. And we got Marc-Andre Fleury here. We know the Minnesota Wild are an under team. Their team is so strong at getting these block shots on goal, not allowing these shots to come in. Vancouver's strength has been on the offensive side of the puck. Their defense is letting them down. But I do think in this one, we really see a very solid night out of Demko, and I think we see a solid night out of Fleury. Now, we saw the last time these teams played. This one did go under that total back in December with the Wild getting a 3-0 shutout win in that one. Oh, man, I tell you, the last 3 games, so this is my only concern from the Minnesota Wild. Their last 3 games, and it's been since last Friday, so within the last week, all 3 of their games have gone to OT. I'm really hoping they don't have tired legs in this one, but they have dominated versus Vancouver, so I need their defense to really show up for this under 6, especially if you're getting the under 6 here in this one. But the Wild have gone under the total in their last 8 games. They're also 5-0 in their last 5 games versus a team with a losing record to go under. And their last 5 on the road have gone under that total as well. The Canucks, the only reason they would push this up. So I'm looking at the Canucks to go under the total. I'm also looking for the game to go under and looking here at Demko to still have a big night. So it's one thing I'm actually going to look at is Demko's save shots on goal. It's a hard one, though, because the Wild play more of a defensive game. So looking at Demko's save shots, but I'm really interested to see what number the book is giving us on Demko's save shots on goal. Because I tell you guys, he is playing for a contract. We're looking at Demko. 28.5 is the number in this. Marc-Andre Fleury coming in at 26.5. Demko, 28.5. We have a Minnesota Wild team that only averages 31.3 shots on goal per game. Vancouver allowing that 31.2. So we will see more shots on Demko in this one. Man, that number is so tight. This one will be interesting to see what Demko is able to do. I'm interested to see how the Minnesota Wild play this too. If Minnesota gets up in this game, I see them just sticking back, playing a strong defensive game and not pushing this one. So I'm going to stay off the goalie prop here because I do think that is really tight to that under. Yeah, I can see the under too. Oh man, you guys, we got some great games on the ice tonight. We've got 2 more to go over. Then we're going to do the long shot parlay and my best bets for the day. I am so glad to see each and every one of you in the chat and everyone watching later. Thank you so much. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, you guys. The weekend is coming. Sunday, we'll have to do early because I'm on Sports Grid in the afternoon. Saturday, we'll do about a half an hour before those games kick off Saturday morning. So hit that subscribe button and then you'll know because you guys know I'm kind of sporadic on the weekends. Montreal taking on the LA Kings. Talk about this Kings team. I tell you, I am so happy. Thank you guys so much for telling me that Jonathan Quick went to Vegas and now isn't in Columbus. I am happy for him. Now, Copley and Corpustello are going to make a fantastic goaltending duo here in LA. Now, Copley is expected in goal tonight. And we have the Montreal Canadiens rolling in here, expected to start Jake Allen. Now, they are sitting 8th in the Atlantic, and the LA Kings sitting a 2nd in the Pacific. This Kings team, I'm loving what I'm seeing out of them. They won the last matchup 4-2, and I think this is the Kings on the puck line for me all day long. Laying the 1.5 on the Kings here is -108. Now, this Montreal Canadiens team isn't giving up on their season, even though they're not going anywhere, you guys. This team wants to spoil everyone else's hopes of winning their division. So they're going to give it their all. But this is their first night of a back-to-back. They've got the Ducks on deck tomorrow. I think they probably beat the Ducks on deck, beat the Ducks tomorrow. I don't see them getting the win here over the LA Kings. I think the Kings are just too strong. Now, they're off a shootout win versus the Jets. They got that 6-5 win. That was in Winnipeg. That was so impressive with what we saw out of the Kings. And they don't have a game till Saturday when they have the St. Louis Blues on deck. Because I just need a sip of water. Yeah, I think the Kings win this. We got strong trends to that over as well. We know Montreal will put up 1 or 2 goals, but at this total of 6.5, unless the Kings come out and just score continuously on Jake Allen, I'm just not too comfortable in taking this total. I think Kings puck line, laying the 1.5 at -108 is the way I'm going to go. Kings win. You liking the Leafs on the money line? It's gonna be a really interesting game here. Kings team total over 3.5. If you think they get 4 goals, it's a little juicy at -128, so I don't like it. I'd rather just take the chance on the puck line for the LA Kings. We know the LA Kings are actually, they're playing a lot better on those allowed shots on goal as well. They've dropped, or they've gone up to 5th overall in the league, only allowing that 28.4 shots on goal per game. So I really have liked what I've seen out of the Kings as of late, and the Canadians have struggled versus LA Kings, only winning 2 of the last 8 meetings. Kings won the last one, covering that puck line 4-2 in December. The last game on the board, I really have no interest in betting. The St. Louis Blues taking on the San Jose Sharks. Now, when I thought Jordan Binnington would be in goal tonight, I actually like the ability of the St. Louis Blues to break this losing streak, even though they sold off everyone, to get the win over the San Jose Sharks here at home. The Sharks just not playing strong at home. But James Reimer now is confirmed for the San Jose Sharks, and Greece expected now for the St. Louis Blues. He was the first off the ice. So I think what we're going to see in this one is the Sharks get a home win. They need a home win in this one. It's -120 it was earlier. Let's just see if we've seen any movement here on the San Jose Sharks. Yeah, still sitting at -120. If you think they can get a big win over the St. Louis Blues, which wouldn't be out of question with Greece in goal, it's -1.5 at almost a $2 profit on that one. So I don't trust either of these teams. The Blues have rolled really strong into San Jose, winning the last 4, but I would have taken them if Jordan Binnington was in goal. So I can't get behind either of these teams. Total 6.5. I lean on the over, but again, I don't want to put my money on these teams. We got 10 games on the board. We don't have to bet every single one of them. The Blues absolutely struggling. The Sharks struggling at home. So that's where I'm going with that game. If you guys like the Sharks at home, let's then you guys can hit it. I don't hate them at home in this one. Best game to go over on, I think it's that Calgary game versus the Maple Leafs. I think Calgary opens up offensively in this game, and we also see the Toronto Maple Leafs bounce back from their poor offensive production. They also have Woll in goal tonight, which should open up for Calgary. I do think Jacob Markstrom has a strong night, though. So unless he comes out and gets a shutout, this one goes over the total, and I don't expect a shutout here. You're going with the over as well. Yeah, I do think this one goes over that total. It's just hard to take that over when you see 2 teams really struggling to get the ability to get those shots. There is not even a Blues player other than Jordan Binnington that people really recognize the name of. And we have the Sharks coming out here. I do like James Reimer. I like what we've seen out of him this season for the Sharks. And the Sharks' ability to get these goals has been good. So, worst home team, Blues money line or stay away. I don't hate it. And I liked it with Jordan Binnington in. Now I just kind of go, I don't want to put my money there. Let's do a recap, you guys. Let's recap all of these games super fast. We will build the parlay, and then you guys can get on with your day. Let me know where you're watching or listening to the show from if you're able to. I just need one more sip of my water. Hang on. Okay. Buffalo Sabres, Boston Bruins, 7 o'clock Eastern for this one. We're going to take the Sabres team total over 2.5 for the parlay. I do see the goals coming in this one. There is no way I'm stepping in front of Boston straight up in this game. I know a lot of you have confidence in the Buffalo Sabres. Boston returning from a road trip, now won 8 in a row. I think it is a prime opportunity to take the Sabres on the money line. I'm going to sprinkle on that, not going to lie. Sprinkle on it, small bet on it, maybe half a unit on that. But I think the Sabres team total over 2.5 is the best bet. I also think the over 6.5 is the way to go in this game. I'm expecting these goals. And again, that's a little bit of fade on Boston's defense after returning home from a road trip, winning their last 8 with Swayman in goal here. So I look for a higher scoring one, which leans on Buffalo being able to pull off an upset in Boston. Oh, sketchy, you guys. The Nashville Predators and the Florida Panthers. I'm going to take the Panthers here for the parlay on the money line. I do think taking the Panthers in regulation is a very solid bet in this one. I think the Panthers get the win. Like I said, they're fighting hard to stay in the wild card mix. We also have a total of 6.5. I like it to the over. I think this is a 4-3 style game in this one. I am leery of taking the Florida Panthers big on that puck line. I just don't love it. The Preds did win the last matchup 7-3. So I think that over, safest way to go with this one. Panthers in regulation next. And then look at Matthew Tkachuk for his ability to get those shots on goal in this game for the anytime goal as well. The Ottawa Senators and the New York Rangers. I think this is the Rangers game in this one. Now, Ottawa is fighting as well. Cam Talbot and Halleck expected here. Rangers in the back-to-back, but they're strong on the back-to-back, winning 4 of their last 5 with no rest. Patrick Kane and Panarin here, I think they're going to be absolutely phenomenal out on the ice together. I'm so excited to see this. I think the Rangers get the win. I'm going to take, though, for the parlay, the Rangers in the first period. Just because I'm a little cautious of the Ottawa Senators and what we've seen out of them. But I do also, and that's for the parlay, Rangers in the first period. But I also do like the New York Rangers for the win and Patrick Kane for that anytime goal over on FanDuel. You're getting that at plus 300. I think it's a phenomenal one to even put half a unit on here. I think it's both of those correlated together have the ability to win. So I'm going to take outside of that Patrick Kane for the anytime goal and Panarin for the anytime goal, or take them for the points here, because I do think both of these players get a point tonight in this game. And again, I'm staying off that total because it's going to come down to Cam Talbot and Halleck where that one goes. And I don't have very much trust in Cam Talbot right now, but he is a solid goalie. The Pittsburgh Penguins and the Tampa Bay Lightning. I like the Penguins here on the puck line, and that's what I'm going to throw into the parlay. I think plus the 1.5. They have a strong night versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think this one goes over the total of 6.5 as well. I think this is a 7-goal game. Now, I'm going to look at Braden Point for the anytime goal or point tonight, and Sidney Crosby for that anytime goal or point tonight. I think both of these players have phenomenal nights. Both of these teams really wanting this win and digging deep and hard. We know the Penguins have won their last 3. The Lightning have been struggling to score. So this is one where they need to open up offensively. The Seattle Kraken and the Detroit Red Wings. You guys, like I said, this line scares the crap out of me with the Kraken being such slight favorites here. It's like the books are begging us to take the Seattle Kraken. Yes, am I overthinking it? Probably, because the Red Wings have been absolutely struggling at the moment. But I'm not going to get there because of this. It doesn't sit well with me. It's the Detroit Red Wings or anything, and I can't back them here. I don't trust in this team. Now, you guys throw out Dylan Larkin for the anytime goal, and I absolutely love that. He just got his contract extended, so he should come out and play solid for the Red Wings here. But I do like the under 6.5. I think this one goes under that total, and I know that's scary, but we look at the inability for the Red Wings to score as of late, and the Kraken's ability defensively to limit their opponents' shots on goal. And I do think this one stays under the 6.5. So that is what I'm going to throw into the parlay. The next one we have on the board is the Dallas Stars taking on the Chicago Blackhawks. And yes, like I said, I'm probably overthinking this one as well. Too much with Matt Murray expected in goal, brought up from the AHL, not the Leafs. Matt Murray, don't forget that. The Blackhawks won the last matchup 4-3. I think this is a game where we haven't seen enough out of this goalie coming up from the AHL for me to have trust in him. Do I think the Stars win? Absolutely. But where am I going to find value? I don't trust that puck line. I don't want to take regulation. I'm still not getting any value. So for myself, this one is the Stars and the Blackhawks under 6.5. I really do think the Stars defense can do enough to limit the Blackhawks from scoring. We know the Blackhawks are absolutely struggling, and I don't think the Stars come out and get enough goals in this one on Peter Moretz. This team isn't one to just keep going and going and going. I think this is one where it stays under that total. Now, the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Calgary Flames, you guys, I think Calgary has every opportunity to get this win in this one. The Maple Leafs, though, are going to be coming out strong, especially offensively. I think we look at Jacob Markstrom now, his number over 24.5 save shots on goal at -126. I do like this because I do think the Maple Leafs get more shots than normal on Jacob Markstrom. I think they're still going to hit 33 shots on goal, even though Calgary is strong at limiting their opponents to 26.9. So at 33 shots on goal, even if Jacob Markstrom lets in 4, we still get over that number of 24.5. So this is going to come down to the wire, though, you guys. We saw the Leafs not able to get those shots, and we've seen Calgary really limit their opponents. But Calgary's so strong at limiting their opponents in the first period and the second period. We're going to be sweating this and hoping more shots come in on Markstrom, but they will come in that third period. I think this one goes over the total, and that's what I'm most confident in. Toronto and Calgary over 6.5. I really do think we have a higher scoring one. Calgary needs to play a really solid offensive game in this one. Now, I know they're solid at limiting, but this team, the heart of this team isn't their defense, which it feels like Daryl Sutter is trying to make this team, and it just really isn't. Now, the Leafs are strong defensively, but with their limits last night, with the back-to-back, I do think we see this one go over that total. The next game on the board, and I don't mind Calgary in the first period, you guys, so as a separate bet. The Minnesota Wild and the Vancouver Canucks. Again, I think this one stays under 6. Looking at this one, I think Demko should come out, have a really strong night. Like I said, his number is really 28.5. It's like right on that number, so I'm not going to touch it. But I do think the Wild the Wild get this win, but it's just finding value. Wild in regulation, I don't hate at all, but I like the under 6.5 more than the Wild in regulation. So give me the Wild and the Canucks under 6.5 for this game. Or under 6, sorry. This one is at 6. You can buy it up to 6.5 for the parlay. The Montreal Canadiens and the LA Kings. I love the LA Kings tonight, you guys, on that puck line at -1.5. That is one of my straight up bets. I'm going to be betting that. It's coming in at -108. I also think this is a good game that you could probably look to that over for the Kings. Goals tonight, their team total is 3.5 at -128. So not the value there that I would like in this one. And then the last game on the ice, the St. Louis Blues and the San Jose Sharks. This is, I don't want to bet it. I lean on the over in this one. Jordan Binnington not expected in goal here for the St. Louis Blues. James Reimer, I think the Sharks probably win this one at home. They're -120. I'm going to leave it out of everything. Like I said, you guys, you don't have to bet every single game. I know we like to, though, and putting a couple dollars on every single game. Let's recap this parlay. And yeah, sorry about yesterday with all those emergency alerts. I don't know if you guys saw all the memes going out, but it wasn't just my phone. Like the whole province of Alberta, everyone's phone was going off with the emergency alerts over and over and over and over and over again. So it wasn't just me. I thought it was just me and that I was not too smart to turn off my phone. Anyway, so recapping that long shot parlay, we're going to take the Sabres team total over 2.5, the Panthers on the money line, the Rangers in the first period, the Penguins on the puck line +1.5, the Kraken and the Red Wings under a 6.5, the Stars and the Blackhawks under 6.5, Toronto and Calgary over 6.5, and the Wild and the Vancouver Canucks under 6 in that one. Now, the Sabres on the money line, you guys have me convinced. It's a sprinkle on the Wild, the Sabres on the puck line. Who is released from the Kraken? Oh, released the Kraken. I thought you said someone was released from the Kraken. I was like, oh my God, what is happening? Trade deadline is so crazy. The Sabres on the money line, I'm going to sprinkle. I'm also going to take Calgary in the first period. I love the LA Kings on that puck line at -1.5 today, you guys. I think it's a phenomenal way to go with this game. I forgot in that parlay, we're also going to hit the Kings on the money line. I didn't put it in there. Kings on the money line as well, you guys, within that parlay. And then Jacob Markstrom, I think he has a good night. So over 24.5 save shots on goal at -126. I love Jacob Markstrom there as well. Over 24.5. I got to get this in right after before we get more juice on that. But -126 for Jacob Markstrom. For the player props, Sidney Crosby tonight. I think Sidney Crosby comes out and has a good night versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. Sidney Crosby for the anytime goal, for the anytime point. I love. And then on the other side of that puck, you've got to look at Braden Point. Braden Point has been absolutely phenomenal as well. So Patrick Kane as well for a point. Panarin, I can't wait to see them out on the ice. If you're looking at Calgary, you know, Toffoli has been absolutely phenomenal for that point or anytime goal again in the Calgary game versus Toronto. Be careful with taking shots on goal because both these teams strong at limiting those shots. They're going to need precise shots in this game. But that's it. I'm going to look at your comments. Best game, I think, for the over. The best game for the over, I would look at Toronto and Calgary. I think that one definitely goes over the total of 6.5. The other one to the over, I think, is the Sabres and the Boston Bruins to the over as well. I think both of those are phenomenal to the over. And then the Nashville Predators and the Florida Panthers. I think you could take all three of those to the over. Or in all three of those, take the dogs, take their team totals over. And we should have a good night in these games. So that's what I am liking there. Man, there's a lot of action on my street today with this weather. Warming up. Yeah, Blackhawks are tanking. That is for sure. Chicago, your best bet tonight. Maple Leafs and Flames over 6.5. Panthers and Predators over 6.5. Kev, we think the same on those. Mississippi. Oh, Newfoundland and Mississippi. Awesome. San Jose, Texas. You guys, I love that you are here. Yeah, the Kings on the puck line. It seems like easy money tonight. Copley should have a strong night. I think that is my favorite bet of the night. Bruins and Sabres first period over. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, but let's look at the juice on this. And I'm so glad someone brought this up because I try to tell you guys as much as I can when you like that first period over. If you think both teams can score in that first period, yeah. So over 1.5 in the first period is -156, okay? My question to you is, if you like that over, do you think it's because both teams score? Or are you just looking at one team to score? Because if you're looking at one team to score in that first period, you're better off taking that first period on the puck line. So if you think Boston's going to get 2 goals in that first period, taking them on the puck line at -0.5 is +108. Okay. You could take the Buffalo Sabres on the reverse puck line. You're going to get extreme value there if you think the Sabres will score the first goals, which I don't recommend. But if you think both teams will score in that first period, this is my favorite bet in hockey. +148. Easily cashed the other night with Toronto and Edmonton. That +148 for both teams, over -156 for the over 1.5. So as soon as you think both teams are going to get you that over, sprinkle on both teams to score. There you go. So if you think that is what is going to happen, take both teams to score. And I'm with you. I think both teams score in the first period. I think we get a goal out of both of them here at +148. It's money, you guys. And those are the kind of bets I give out to my clients. So that is what I would be taking tonight. If you like that first period over 1.5, and I absolutely love it. So you guys always look at that kind of thing. The books have caught up on over 1.5 in that first period. But like we saw last night, Toronto and Edmonton, easy money on both teams to score. So you guys, that's it. That's Puck It with Joe. I will quickly throw up these bookmarks. My Cup of Joe and my college basketball quick picks. College basketball quick picks cashed again yesterday. So no Cup of Joe yesterday, but we did do the player prop for Donovan Mitchell over assists. That was just a YouTube short. So stay tuned, you guys. Hit that subscribe button because I put out stuff random times. I will have those videos out right away. And yeah, that's it, you guys. Have a good one. Keep smiling. Let's make some freaking money. I'll be back here tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. And let's make some money before that. Bye, guys.